Okay, so let's get into now an interview that is like nothing I have ever seen in the United States. This is an interview in which Donald Trump, finally out of his bunker of media isolation after losing to Joe Biden, has started doing media again. On Thanksgiving, he took some questions from reporters, which we will get to, but I'm starting here with his interview yesterday morning on Fox News with Maria Bartiromo. This interview is indistinguishable from a North Korean state media reporter. Maria Bartiromo went along with Donald Trump's obvious lies with the same credulity as those North Korean state media anchors when they used to report, oh, Kim Jong-il got a hole in one on all 18 holes. Kim Jong-un doesn't defecate, right? I mean, it's like that, what Maria Bartiromo does here. Trump told endless lie after lie, many of them completely corrosive to our democracy. And she went along with every single one. And then just to add insult to injury, or maybe better said, to add a cartoonish element to this, Donald Trump insisted multiple times that it was massive dumps that led him to lose the election, which is just like on another level altogether from the standpoint of comedy. So let's get right into it because we do have so much to get to. Check this out, combining here the Sir routine with this new massive dumps meme.
And what happened, if you watched the election, I was called by the biggest people saying, congratulations, political people. Congratulations, sir. You just won the election. It was 10 o'clock, and you looked at the numbers, and I'm sure you felt that way. This election was over. And then they did dumps. They call them dumps, big, massive dumps in Michigan and Pennsylvania.
It's just beyond parody. I mean, massive dumps cost them the election. Huge dumps were happening all over the country as the results were coming in. What is going on here? We are a laughing stock. And in this next clip, Donald Trump pushes completely baseless voter fraud conspiracies. And if you're watching, pay special attention to the looks on Maria Bartiromo's face. She's acting like when Trump says maybe the FBI was involved, she reacts as if, wow, the FBI is really involved in this.
This is total fraud. And how the FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved. But how people are allowed to get away from this stuff with this stuff is unbelievable. This election was rigged. This election was a total fraud, and it continues to be as they hide. And the problem we have, we go to judges, and people don't want to get involved.
What Trump means there by we go to judges and they don't want to get involved, what he means is judges look at our so-called evidence and find it completely lacking in merit. That's actually what's going on. Here is Trump just straight up saying the popular vote numbers are wrong.
Ballot boxes. And they use COVID as a means to stuff the ballot boxes. Joe Biden did not get 16 million more votes than Barack Hussein Obama. He didn't get it. Joe Biden did not get 14 million more votes than Hillary Clinton. And by the way, he didn't beat Obama in the black communities. You go to some of these communities where Obama is very, very popular, and he beats him in some of these communities, but all throughout the rest of the United States, in a black community, he does actually poorly. He doesn't do very well.
This one should not surprise any of us. Remember that Donald Trump still hasn't accepted the results of the popular vote from 2016. That was an election that made Trump president. And so, as we've been saying for months, obviously Trump was never going to accept the 2020 popular vote results, and he's not. And then Maria Bartiromo goes full propaganda actor. She says, listen, if you don't consider the electoral votes of the contested swing states, you win, Mr. President.
Critical part of this story, Mr. President. But if you take out the contested swing states electoral votes, you're back down to President Trump having 232 electoral votes and Joe Biden having 227. That is if you strip out the 6 states with the legal challenges. So is the thinking here that because of the various ballot issues that the Supreme Court will rule that the vote is tainted? And that will mean that they have to take votes away from Biden and not certify. Is that the thinking? And secondly, what's your timing on this, Mr. President? because we've got some notable election dates here that I want to ask you.
This reminds me of the old internet viral phrase: if my grandmother had wheels instead of legs, she would be a bicycle. The point is, that's not the situation. Swing states are part of the country. Swing states have not been shown to have had fraudulent results. The swing states merely count like any others. You don't get to not count them because the results are inconvenient. And Maria Bartiromo really outdoing herself here. And Trump then goes on completely delusionally to talk about assertions of hundreds of thousands of votes that are just fraud and anything to not admit he simply lost the election, and quite decisively.
But we actually have thousands of votes, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of votes, more than we need in every swing state that we're talking about.
So then here comes in Maria Bartiromo on a bizarre rant, and she says, this is all disgusting, Mr. President.
This is disgusting, and we cannot allow America's election to be corrupted. We cannot. So you believe you can prove that the computers can circumvent any controls that are in place. And before we leave the subject of Durham,
not only is Maria making no sense, why is she screaming the entire interview? It's really bizarre. And this finally starts to wind down, and Maria Bartiromo's interview ends with Trump saying it's statistically impossible what happened. And Maria Bartiromo responds by saying, it's all quite extraordinary, Mr. President.
They say it's statistically impossible. I led the charge. We won state houses, we won Congress, we won the Senate, and I lost. They say it's statistically impossible for that to happen.
It's all quite extraordinary, Mr. President. We want to thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for your work.
Yes, all quite extraordinary. Telling obvious lies, which is what not only what Trump is doing, but what Maria does. This is now right-wing virtue signaling. They decry so-called virtue signaling on the left to signal that you're part of what I would call right think, meaning, and right has two meanings, correct and right wing. You have to keep telling lies that most people now recognize as lies. And this is not only corrosive to democracy, it's a global embarrassment. And we're going to deal with that embarrassment piece on the Friday show this week. It is a complete and total global shame that is taking place here. And unfortunately, this was not the only such event over the holiday weekend. We now have to get to how it went down when Donald Trump took questions from reporters on Thanksgiving Day for the first time since the election. Our sponsor, PureVPN, is having a huge Black Friday sale right now. They're giving you 88% off a subscription, which comes out to only a little over $1 a month. PureVPN makes you anonymous when you're browsing online, and you can trust them because they're the only VPN in the industry with an always-on third-party audit to verify that your internet activity is not being logged. By hiding your IP address, PureVPN keeps you safe from hackers and prevents you from being spied on by your internet service provider, social media companies, and even government surveillance. It also lets you watch shows and movies that aren't available in your country. PureVPN is super fast. You can use it on all of your devices. And I can tell you firsthand, the app is really easy to use. And they have 6,500 servers across the world, which is more than any other VPN in the industry. Everyone should be using a VPN when connecting to the internet, and now is the perfect time to start because PureVPN is giving you an 88% discount on a subscription, which comes out to only a little over $1 a month. Go to davidpakman.com/PureVPN. The link is underneath the video.